moment de gloire n'est qu'éphémère. Mais c'est le tout premier groupe rock irlandais. Thin Lizzy, le groupe à 2 guitares, rassemble une bande de bagarreurs aux vestes cloutées.
We actually were a gang. If anybody said anything against anybody in the band, they'd probably get their heads kicked in.
Tonight is gonna be trouble. Some of us won't survive.
Phil Lynott est le chanteur et le chef du groupe.
I'm not like a pretty face, you know, okay, people admire my legs and stuff, but my face, you know, it's another thing.
Phil was a great songwriter, great singer, great charisma, one of the few Irish black men on the face of the planet.
Somebody said he was a black Irish bastard. If anybody called him that, they were dead.
I am your main man if you love your trouble.
Thin Lizzy enregistre 13 albums, chiffre de mauvais augure pour ce groupe malchanceux.
Thin Lizzy was a real pressure cooker type of band. I think we always pushed ourselves almost over the edge.
Mais un destin tragique attend le meneur du groupe.
There was a darkness about him, you know, that I didn't like at all.
Here's a guy, his role models were all dead rock stars. Hendrix, Elvis, Janis Joplin, they're all dead.
I did not believe that the Lord was going to take Philip. I swear to God.
Next day it was a funeral. It was just like too unreal to even imagine, you know.
Phil Lynott, toujours inspiré par les légendes celtiques, en devient une à son tour.
Now, 2 people tell a story of Philip appearing to them in a house.
I certainly felt his presence at least 3 times distinctly in the 2 or 3 years after he died.
La magie et la tragédie de Thin Lizzy à musicographie.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away.
En 1976, le succès de Thin Lizzy, The Boys Are Back in Town, se rend en première position des palmarès en Irlande et en 12e position aux États-Unis. Après 6 ans et 6 albums, Thin Lizzy goûte enfin au succès.
We're going to play some old songs here. A medley of our hits. A song called The Boys Are Back in Town.
Thin Lizzy n'obtient qu'un seul succès en Amérique, mais le groupe aura accompli bien plus. Le succès du groupe est éphémère, mais il est maintenant acclamé comme le premier grand groupe rock que l'Irlande ait produit. Mais Thin Lizzy ne peut survivre à son succès.
It's the poison chalice. You know, it's there for anyone to pick up, but not many people drink from it.
Et Phil Lynott, le chanteur sentimental et poétique, devient le héros de sa propre tragédie.
He wanted to be the best rock star ever to come out of Ireland, the greatest of all time. He wanted to put Ireland on the map.
I really suffer from homesickness. If I don't get back to Dublin within 3 months, then I really start to suffer from homesickness.
En 1986, 10 ans après le succès de The Boys Are Back in Town, Phil Lynott meurt à l'âge de 36 ans. Il revient à la ville qui l'a tant inspiré.
After our affair, I swore that I'd leave Dublin, and in that line I left behind the years, the tears, the memories, and you in Dublin.
And he was such a romantic old fool. And at the same time, he was the rocker.
Friends come to say farewell. We'd laugh and joke and smoke, and later on the boat I'd cry over you in Dublin.
He had 2 sides to his nature. He was very romantic and very gentle on one side. On the other side, he was a hard man. God love him, wherever he is.
And at sea with blowing hair, I think of Dublin, of Grafton Street and Derby Square, and those of whom I care, and you in Dublin.
Pendant ces années folles, Phil Lynott joue la vedette de Thin Lizzy. Il vit pour la musique. Mais lorsque le groupe se sépare en 1983, Lynott sombre dans le cauchemar de l'héroïne.
The thing I always remember is him telling me he was running on empty. It's like this terrible Irish melancholy that just sweeps over you. You add drink and drugs to that, that's a lethal combination.
Le jour de Noël 1985, Phil Lynott est si malade qu'on ne peut plus cacher la vérité à sa mère.
I said, I know everything. I'll take care of you. I'll get you better. I know I will.
Mais son état ne s'améliore pas. Le 4 janvier 1986, après des années d'alcoolisme et de toxicomanie, Phil Lynott s'éteint. Son corps est enterré à Dublin, mais son esprit vit encore dans sa musique.
Philip had this thing of sort of just blazing across the sky and making this vast impact and leaving something really interesting behind him that people would remember, and that's classical Irish mythology.
Il y a 50 ans, une jeune Irlandaise catholique nommée Philomena Lynott part se chercher un emploi en Angleterre. Elle s'éprend d'un noir nommé Cecil Paris et tombe enceinte. Le 20 août 1949, elle donne naissance à son seul et unique fils, Philip Paris Lynott. Elle décide d'élever l'enfant seul. Son fils fait la fierté de Philomena, mais la fille-mère à l'enfant noir est méprisée.
You'd be walking out with him and people would stop me and they'd say, oh, they'd say to Philip, give us one of your curls. You've got lovely curly hair. And he'd pretend to give, right? And then they'd say, God bless him and protect him and take him back to Africa to them that own him.
Philomena travaille avec acharnement pour gagner de l'argent et prendre soin de son fils, mais en vain. Elle demande donc à sa mère, Sarah, d'élever son fils de 4 ans.
She took Philip. It broke my heart, broke Philip's heart to be separated from me.
Philip va vivre en Irlande avec sa grand-mère. C'est son premier retour au pays. Philip grandit à Crumlin, une banlieue de Dublin où il étudie chez les frères.
Phil was the only black guy in the whole place. So when I seen Phil first, you know, it was like a big shock.
À l'école, Philip découvre une passion pour l'histoire irlandaise, pour la mythologie celtique et pour le héros légendaire Cuchulainn. Philip se reconnaît dans Cuchulainn, un enfant guerrier mythique qui n'a pas de père. Cuchulainn accepte sa destinée. Il avait été dit qu'il mourrait jeune, mais que son nom et ses exploits seraient éternels.
I think he put himself into a situation where what would Cuchulainn do in a situation like this?
We had a long conversation about Cuchulainn, who's the greatest of all the Irish heroes. And there's a saying in the Táin, which is the book of Cuchulainn, that it's better to live a brief life like a shooting star rather than a long, boring, ponderous life. Now, that's paraphrasing it, you know. But that's pretty much the way Philip wants to live his life.
Philip se passionne aussi pour la musique. À l'école secondaire, Brian et lui forment le groupe The Black Eagles, qui se dissout quand Philip a 18 ans. Il se joint alors à Gary Moore dans le groupe Skid Row.
In those days, he wasn't that good of a singer. He was all right, you know, but he hadn't really started writing, and he didn't play much.
Les talents de chanteur de Philip ne conviennent pas à Skid Row. Il le congédie après un an. En 1969, son ami Brian Downey et lui forment un autre groupe et s'associent à un musicien de Belfast, Eric Bell.
So Phil came over to me and says, Eric, we'll start a band with you. So I said, yeah, great. And he said, where do you live? And I said, I don't know, because I was tripping on acid.
Eric a déjà trouvé un nom pour leur nouveau groupe.
I said, why don't we call it Thin Lizzy? And they're going, no, dreadful name.
Le nom vient de l'héroïne de bande dessinée Thin Lizzy. Le groupe est maintenant prêt à poursuivre sérieusement ses rêves de gloire. Thin Lizzy répète tous les jours et joue tous les soirs. Sa détermination lui vaut un contrat avec la compagnie Decca. Le groupe sait que la seule façon de percer est de quitter Dublin pour l'Angleterre. En mars 1971, les membres de Thin Lizzy font leur bagage.
We came to England, nobody knew who we were, you know, Thin who? Thin who?
We're going to do it by hook or by crook. We're going to break this thing, you know, we're going to make it successful. And that's a real Dublin trait, you know.
Un soir, Thin Lizzy attire l'attention de l'agent Chris O'Donnell.
I went to see them at a club in London, and it was quite interesting. I heard a voice that I hadn't heard in rock up to that point.
O'Donnell et son partenaire Chris Morrison décident de prendre le groupe sous leur aile. Ils croient que le groupe est voué au succès, mais ses premiers albums font fiasco.
We were so poor. Philip and I went round to the record company and asked them for a box of albums. And basically what we did was go around the corner and we sold them to a second-hand record store so we could eat.
Les temps sont durs et les répétitions intenses. Un jour, pour alléger l'atmosphère, le groupe s'amuse à jouer des chansons traditionnelles irlandaises à la manière rock.